السلام عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Today we will start discussing a new surah entitled At-Tur. At-Tur, another name for a mountain. In Arabic we say Jabal. Jabal, Quran talks about Al-Jibal. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته. Exactly. So At-Tur also is another word for mountain. Okay, but as we will discuss later on, it has also it is mentioned in reference to the Mount Sinai, okay, where Musa alayhi salam received the revelation, okay, the tablets, and Janib al-Tur al-Ayman, you see, so it is close to that really area, or that mountain, okay, Mount Sinai. So, but we will see the significance of this as we really start exploring the structure really of the surah itself. And this has been our recent methodology, our approach to instead of telling you this verse means this and this verse and trying to it's at the end you will not, where is the bigger picture, okay, because this is a surah, a construct, okay, and so we are trying our best, okay, to find the central theme of the surah, okay, and that sometimes require reading and rereading the surah, okay, go back to what others have said about these different verses, okay, and then you try, like, based on, I would say, your vision, okay, how what is the overall vision of the message of Quran, okay, and you try to understand even the surah within the context of Quran. The same way we are trying to understand the verses in the context of the surah itself. You see what I mean? Because we said that these verses are the building blocks of that structure that we call surah. As we said, surah from sur, okay, a fence, a wall, or a very well organized structure, okay, and the verses, okay, constitute the building blocks of that really structure. But as I said, also we need to understand also the surah in the context, okay, of Quran itself. Otherwise, we may miss really the main message or the themes, okay, that Quran is trying to relay to us at different stages, if you like, of human history. Because today we have more data as human beings compared to people who lived 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago or even 1,400 years ago. Don't be afraid, okay? Yeah, I mean, it's not your mistake or my mistake that we came at this stage of the human history where we have more data that can be helpful to get a deeper understanding of Quran, okay? And so if you may hear something that you never have not heard before or nobody has said it before, not because, I mean, who is right and who is wrong, but it is at what time these things were really said, or at what time these things were inferred really from Quran. And we will get into that idea itself as we discuss the surah. So again, this is my personal, okay, reflection on the surah. And if you go with me to the part that starts at verse number 29. Go to verse 29 and we will read a few verses and we will start there. This is unconventional because usually we start from the beginning. But again, if we want to understand the structure, okay, let us find really the central theme. Sisters, do you know where we are? Now we are Surah At-Tur, number 52. Surah number 52.
In the HYC hall, so we were waiting there.
The same thing. We went down and then they brought us here. Okay. Do you find it?
I'm just going.
Yeah. Surah At-Tur, which is number 52. And go to verse number 29 of that surah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَذَكِّرْ فَمَا أَنْتَ بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ بِكَاهِنٍ وَلَا مَجْنُونٍ أم يقولون شاعر نتربص به ريب المنون قل تربصوا فإني معكم من المتربصين أم تأمرهم أحلامهم بهذا أم هم قوم طاغون أم يقولون تقوله بل لا يؤمنون فليأتوا بحديث مثله إن كانوا صادقين. Now, regardless of your background in languages, in particular the Arabic language or the Quranic Arabic, okay, look, there are certain words that you can recognize yourself in that passage. Kahin, Majnoon, Sha'ir, okay. So when you hear these things, what in what context you think they were mentioned? What is the context for these things? So this is how the Meccan people, okay, start in fact the elite in Mecca, those who are in power, those who like felt that their interests start really to be affected from the new message. Now they start following what we call today, if you like, the dirty politics, accusations, fake news, if you like, okay, trying like to demean, okay, not only the message, but also the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, because I mean, which way they go, okay, this is it will satisfy their agenda, okay. If they say something about Muhammad, it means this is immediately transferred into the message. If they say something about the message, immediately they are accusing Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As I told you last time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always reminded Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that it's don't take it personal. Their main objective is not you as a person. Their aim is at, their target is the message itself. If they demean the message, okay, by default they are demeaning you. And so, and this is, I mean, that tells you these people were not really dumb. They know what they were doing. You see what I mean? For example, if they want, without saying anything against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, but if they say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala favored, let us say, women over men, and we will see it, أَمْ لَهُ الْبَنَاتُ وَلَكُمُ الْبَنُونَ, and his angels are females. Now, since we know how women at that time were viewed in the society, they were not viewed as really equal or human beings equal to men at least, or they are of value. They were unfortunately among those who were disenfranchised in the society. All the time demean. So by saying this about Allah, they are demeaning Allah and their agenda. This is so. If they are demeaning women and they are ascribing women to Allah, it means that this indirectly demeaning Allah Himself. I mean, hasha lillah. I mean, subhanallah. But this is how the dirty politics that we are really talking about. So again, without because we all were raised, okay, like to in terms of our religious tarbiyah and raising like when we hear anything about Quran, we immediately ask the question, in what context these verses were revealed? Because we all know that Quran did not come down as one lump. I mean, but it was revealed over 20 years. Okay, so one would be interested to know in which context. Now, without really going to the books of history and the different narratives, but when you see these terms in these verses, Majnoon, Kahin, Sha'ir, poet, okay, you know Sha'ir what it is, okay, or this is really the fabrication of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You know what is the context. Is that right? I mean, if you tell me that the person is taking insulin, okay, forget that I am a doctor. Or you ask anybody, I mean, like even someone who doesn't have a medical background, immediately they tell you it means that this person has diabetes. I mean, it doesn't really requires much. Okay, so from the way Quran is treating the issue, you can infer yourself what is the context, what is sababun nuzul, if you like. No question in my mind. Just reading this, immediately I can say this is the time when the elites in Mecca start feeling the heat. Start feeling the...
When you say elite, I think you give them too much credit. I would rather say that maybe the leadership team.
Yeah,
because when you say
very
elite,
good.
You know, like highly cultured.
Yes.
There are none of those. So.
Yeah, in fact, I am really very precise, but let me explain it. Because elite is the, if you like, in correspondence to the term al-mala that Quran uses. Al-mala, it means the leadership, okay,
the leadership team,
but who have a special agenda, special interest, okay, compared to the people or an-nas in Quran. So these terms are not haphazardly used in Quran, because the people, their only agenda is really to find the truth. The elite, what their interest is to hide the truth, to cover up the truth. And again, the extreme becomes kafir, which means covering up the truth. Okay, so I am using it in that context. So it is the leadership, but they have their special interest. Okay, they are in power, but they are misusing their power, and they disenfranchise, marginalize specific groups in the society: the weak, the poor, and women in that context, because they were viewed, okay, in this way, so they were also marginalized in the society.
Or maybe they're calling themselves the elite group.
Yes,
they have money and power.
Yeah, they call themselves the custodians, okay, of the. I mean, when you read about وكذلك زين لكثير من المشركين قتل أولادهم شركاؤهم. It's not that the idols are telling the people to go and bring your son or daughter and slaughter that child at the altar, okay, or at the feet of that idol. They don't speak. But who is luring the people? The custodians, those who are behind the idols, who are taking advantage of the system of shirk. Quran never really talked about this simple person who doesn't know anything, who doesn't have any alternative. Okay, he woke, up in this life to see that this is what his family and parents and next of kin are doing, so start doing the same thing. You see what I mean? They don't understand, but they want really to. They have this feeling, okay, that they need to have a higher authority. Unfortunately, they go the wrong way, okay. But never Quran talked about this simple person. Quran talks about the system behind that, okay, the system of abusing their power, okay, in the name of religion.
And the
Yes.
same narrative is used nowadays. Whenever somebody comes up with an idea that is different from the interest of the people in power, they always classify them as, oh, this is crazy.
Yes.
They're talking crazy talk. They're making up stuff. It's not reality, things
Yeah.
like that. So
Yes.
I think this is consistently used, this
Yes.
kind of methods,
Yes.
over time.
Exactly. And demeaning whoever is trying to say something different from what the establishment in any setting really wants. Okay, again, the problem here, they feel that they are threatened, okay, because any establishment through history, okay, they are seeking some type of stability so that nobody will bother them. Anytime somebody comes and shake that stability, they are not happy about it, okay? And this is one of the ways, okay, because at the beginning, okay, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what is he asking the people to do? To feed the needy, help the poor? Who will be against that? You see? But when they see that this is really is said within a different context, within a different framework, within a different vision, you see, they start really like, there is something behind that, something that is different from our vision, our worldview, how we see the world and how should be ordered, socially, politically. You see what I mean? I mean, so in every aspect, they see that it is really threatening. And this is why we said before that we divided, or historians, for a very good reason, they divided the Meccan period itself into three different, really, like ages or periods.
This reminds me, Abu Jahl never liked other people to feed the pilgrims. He was upset that somebody else was. There were pilgrims coming to
yes.
He opened his tribe, his clan, to feed the pilgrims, not the other people.
Yes, exactly. Because this is a privilege.
Right.
And you see, they don't want anybody like to share them with that. Okay, again, power. It is about power and to maintain that power in their own hands. Anything they see it as a threat. But for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the beginning, I mean, like the first period, there were no really conflict. And the second part, the conflict started. And And the next surah that we are going to discuss is Surah An-Najm. And at the time of the revelation of Surah An-Najm, okay, things start to change. After An-Najm, you see the verses start talking about the system itself. And it ended by قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ لَا أَعْبُدُ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ وَلَا أَنْتُمْ. You see what I mean? You are different. لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينَ. I have a different world view. You see what I mean? قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ did not come at the beginning. It took years before and several revelations to come before it. But it became the peak where the conflict started. In fact, the surah, we'll see in Surah An-Najm, when there is a direct attack on the idols themselves. أَفَرَأَيْتُمُ اللَّاتَ وَالْعُزَّى وَمَنَاةَ الثَّالِثَةَ. This is in Surah An-Najm, as you will see it. So this is very interesting, because you yourself, you will start to put the pieces of the puzzle together, and then you see the bigger picture. Historically, what happened, okay, and how the revelation, the sequencing of the revelation. You can infer it yourself. It's not really like, definitely it can be transformed into a science if it is done in a systematic way and really like exploring these different pathways that we are talking about and these different themes. Definitely it will become a big science, beautiful science, not as it is now thrown in different directions and different resources. No, if you have a good scholarship approach, okay, a scholarly approach, you can put all this into a very beautiful science when it becomes a science. If this compendium became capable of answering the interrelated questions. At one time, there was no science called sociology or anthropology. I mean, these are newly developed, really, sciences, not far away from our own time. But that doesn't mean that there were no sociological observations before. Lot of, scientists and philosophers, okay, they had interesting, like sociological observations. But no one at that time was able to put all these together with the data supporting these observations to become a science that can stand on its own. Like today, for example, or really from the time of Durkheim, like one can say that sociology became a discipline in social sciences. Make sense to you? I think this is, believe me, this will help all of us to understand. Okay, so the major theme, the central theme of the surah, okay, is to prove again and again who is the author of Quran. And don't think that this question died. Till today, there are really people who are trying their best, okay, to show sometimes really that this is not true, that Muhammad is the one who, that Quran is really a revelation from. It is, Muhammad was saying these things, and later they were really collected, okay, after several, and then an archaeological finding destroy this whole, it happened not long time ago. Somebody like said, okay, Quran was not collected and at the time of Muhammad or combined and gathered together, but really like years after that, when the people in politics wanted like something like to help them to govern their people. This is what was the claim. But then, because we don't sometimes have these archaeological proof, okay? And then they found a copy of the Quran in Yemen that dates before, more closer to the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, refuting the claim that it has been really collected later on. You see how these are, again, archaeology is another science, but you see how it can help, okay, us. And for example, we always say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam moved from Mecca to Medina, okay. Does Quran tell you in 622? Does Quran say that? Quran refers to the hijrah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. إذ هما في الغار إذ يقول لصاحبه لا تحزن إن الله. Quran refers, but doesn't say this happened in 622. There are no dates in Quran. But also archaeological studies in the recent years, they found an inscription saying that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam moved from Mecca to Medina in 622. This is very important for us, for our next generation. When they say something, they can prove it empirically, if you like. They can prove it scientifically that yes, because the hijrah is a very important landmark. What happened before it is different from what happened after it. The dynamics are different. And this is why we always say what was revealed before hijrah and what revealed after hijrah, because the dynamics changed. So it is an important date to ascertain, to prove that it is really the time when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam moved from Mecca to Medina. So don't be...
You can think of it as a cut-off date.
Yes, it is an important landmark. You see what I mean? So in terms of the understanding of the seerah and the biography of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the under the watch, if you like, of Quran, in the light of Quran. So that central theme is very important. Who is the author of Quran? So that question, as I said, was big at the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially when there is the conflict started. Is that right? And they start accusing him. Quran said, فَذَكِّرْ. Your mission is only to relay the message, to remind the people. ذكر. فَذَكِّرْ. فَمَا أَنْتَ بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ بِكَاهِنٍ وَلَا مَجْنُونٍ. By the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the grace of your Lord, you are not a soothsayer, okay? You know these people who try to predict the future for kahan, okay? It's very well known. I mean, like these people, until today you see these, I mean, things happening, okay? But with knowledge, people start really shying away from this type of people, because they are really like playing around, okay, and trying like to really rob the people of their really money. So kahin or majnoon, crazy, madman. أَمْ يَقُولُونَ شَاعِرٌ. Or they may say he is a poet. And poetry was flourishing in Arabia around that time. And it's a very well taken, accusation. People can accept that, okay? But what they say, نَتَرَبَّصُ بِهِ رَيْبَ الْمَنُونَ. This is not an easy phrase, if you like. Even for the commentators, they find it a challenging, even in its Arabic structure. Okay, it's really challenging. But what does it really mean? نَتَرَبَّصُ بِهِ رَيْبَ الْمَنُونَ. Let us wait and see what time will unfold. What is the outcome of what he is basically saying? And as one of the things that we see coming with time is death. So Manoon, another meaning for Manoon, it either means time or also death itself, which is one of the things that anyone can predict that at one point this person is going to leave. This can happen to all of us as mortal creatures or beings. But see how Quran responded to that. قُلْ تَرَبَّصُوا. O Muhammad, tell them that, okay, wait, and I will wait with you. إِنِّي مَعَكُمْ مِنَ الْمُتَرَبِّصِينَ. But you will see, I am waiting for the fulfillment of my message. If you are really looking for things to change with time, among them my own death or the death of the message itself, I am waiting along with you, but waiting for the fulfillment of my message. Because the prophet, any prophet, should be among the first to believe in his message. And it is going to be fulfilled in one way or another. آمن الرسول بما. Sometimes we mention the word آمن يؤمن مؤمنون in a very simple and simplistic way. Okay, Quran when Quran talks about iman or to believe in something, it means that you give that thing that you believe in everything, your mind, your heart, your soul. You come to it as a whole, okay, and work for that thing, like in this situation, the message itself. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, okay, Quran is telling him, don't be. This is why I say, qul. Quran is teaching Muhammad how to respond to these situations. Don't let these accusations stop you from doing your job, فذكر, and don't let these accusations affect your belief in the fulfillment of your message. Make sense? And this situation, this psychological, if you like, situation affects every one of us. Wallahi, there are times you feel that type of weakness, okay, when you see things around you happening in the fashion that we don't like. At every level. Socially, politically, in every aspect of life. But then you said, oh my God, no. This requires more patience on my side. Okay, if you believe in that message, don't be affected by don't be sidetracked by what is happening around you.
This hard.
Yeah, it's not easy, okay? But again, and here comes the collective responsibility. Okay, you have your brother, you have your sister, you have your family, you see, coming and supporting you, or reminding you of your own responsibility. This is why we always say, wal asri, time. Remember, by time, wal asri, innal insana lafi khusr, illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat, and then tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. You see, we recommend, we advise each other. Patience, and patience means time. And the surah starts by the time. Unfortunately, we sometimes we want to see the fulfillment right away. Quran is saying everything will happen in its appointed time. Okay? Your job is to work towards that. Change, adjust, plan, do all these things. Okay? But do not stop. Do not let what is happening around you decrease, your enthusiasm, your belief in the message that you accepted, and to work towards it. فذكر فما أنت بنعمة ربك بكاهن ولا مجنون. You are not kahin, you are not crazy, you are not a poet, okay? Because as Quran put it, nothing against poetry. There is nothing against poetry as long as it is given the right direction. Because Quran talks, there is a whole surah entitled Ash-Shu'ara, the poets. And towards its end, Quran is saying, أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّهُمْ فِي كُلِّ وَادٍ يَهِيمُونَ. Don't follow the poets who are really, they have lost their direction. You find them, as Quran is saying, you find them walking in different valleys. Which means what? They have no direction. They have lost their direction. But if you are a poet and you give to your poetry the direction of the truth to protect the truth itself, defend it with your own words. Like Iqbal, rahimahullah. Till today we quote him because, I know many of you, every time I say something, then they said, oh my God, this is the meaning of these verses that Iqbal said. And I will have goosebumps. But that was his aim, his objective is really to translate his understanding of Islam, his understanding of Quran, to put it in his own words, beautiful words that people can easily understand and retain. And it becomes part of the daily things. I have not seen any one of my Indo-Pakistani friends who did not really know by heart so many verses of Iqbal. It's not an easy thing. But you see, because as Quran said, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّهُمْ فِي كُلِّ وَادٍ يَهِيمُونَ وَأَنَّهُمْ يَقُولُونَ مَا لَا يَفْعَلُونَ. They say something and they do something else. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَذَكَرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. Allah becomes their goal all the time. Okay? So what is Allah for them? Is justice. So they speak for justice. They defended justice in there. You see? Allah is Al-Alim. They talk about the importance of science and knowledge in our life. Allah is Al-Hakim. So they talk about wisdom and the importance of wisdom in our life. You see, this is how وَذَكَرُوا اللَّهِ وَانْتَصَرُوا مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا ظُلِمُوا. Muhammad ﷺ used to tell the poets among his followers, okay, نَافِحْ عَنَّا, defend us, not by the sword, by your own words. Each one has his own ways. You see what I mean? This is what the meaning, وَانْتَصَرُوا مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا ظُلِمُوا. They are against dhulm. They stand up to zulm. They stand up to transgression, to oppression, to any type of injustice. You see where? So, again, but Quran is not poetry. It's another genre. It is not a praise, the usual praise. It is not the poetry that you are accustomed to. It is Quran. If somebody asks you, what is Quran, a praise or poetry? Say, it is Quran. It is a different genre. You see? Towards the end of Surah Yasin, you remember what Quran says? It's not sha'r, but it is Quran. You see what I mean? It's a different genre. Don't mix up. Yes, it may have poetic structure and beauty, which is fine, but it is not poetry the same way we understand. We are accustomed to poetry. أَمْ تَأْمُرُهُمْ أَحْلَامُهُمْ بِهَذَا. What they are saying, what they are claiming, is it really based on their use of their faculties, their reasoning faculties, أحلامهم, their reasoning? Okay, so أحلام, and Quran sometimes use nuha. إن في ذلك, towards the end of Surah Taha, إن في ذلك لآيات لأولي النهى. عقول, brains, minds. Okay, they have the ability to use well their faculties, and this is why Muhammad ﷺ used to say when he stands up in prayer. You see, so see the application. لِيَلِيَنِي مِنْكُمْ أُولُو الْأَحْلَامِ وَالنُّهَى. Let the people who stand immediately behind me be the people of Ahlam and Nuha. The most intelligent, the most really knowledgeable people. Why? We have to ask ourselves why Muhammad is not discriminating. But any imam, including the Prophet, peace be upon him himself, there is a chance that for one reason or another cannot continue the leading of the prayer. So Muhammad ﷺ is asking us to make it a strategy out of this. There should be not one person, but more than one person to be capable of leading. And you can translate that into the political arena. Is that right? Because our prayer is really just a model, a blueprint of how we should live our life socially and politically. Can you imagine I don't know. I haven't seen it in other really like type of worship that the imam, okay, gives the other worshippers his back. The imam is praying or leading, but he is not looking at the people behind him. But all of them are looking at him. If somebody makes a mistake during his or her prayer, does the imam know about it?
No.
He doesn't see. Is that right? But you will tell me, if the imam makes a mistake, what will happen?
They all come behind screaming.
They will not allow even that imam to make any mistake. Immediately they jump into correcting and adjusting. Wallahi, I was one time telling a colleague at work about this. Immediately he said, "This is democracy." Don't you think? Don't you believe that? This is a manifestation. What is democracy? What is democracy? In few words, what is democracy? Equality of conditions. You don't really like speak for hours about it. Equality of conditions. Once you have that satisfied, you have democracy. And where you find it today? Give me one place where you see democracy at its apogee. The internet. Because the son of Bill Gates and your son or your daughter or your brother or your sister have the same, has equal opportunity. Like the one who like discovered. Make sense to you? If anyone asks you what, because this is equality of conditions. In the internet, you are equal to anyone. So, أم تأمرهم أحلامهم بهذا أم هم قوم طاغون, or they are really transgressing and going beyond their limits. They are afflicting or inflicting injustice. طاغون. They are self-sufficient, arrogant in all their claims. And so this is why Quran all from the beginning told us that self-insufficiency is a state of tughyan, a state of transgression, a state of injustice. This is very important. From the beginning. What is the beginning of Quran? What is the beginning of Quran? How Quran started? Iqra, is that right? After that, كلا إن الإنسان لا يطغى. Why? أن رآه استغنى. Self-sufficiency. استغنى, self-sufficient. Quran is saying يطغى, طاغون. And for our younger daughter here, even good things may go to the extreme. Okay? Bravery is good, is that right? Are you are for bravery, is that right? Bravery. What is the opposite of bravery? Cowardice, is that right? Bad. This is on that side of the spectrum. It's bad. No. We want bravery that is in the middle. Bravery, if it goes into the extreme, what it becomes? Recklessness. Is that right? No, I am a driver, I can drive at 90, 100. And you see, what the police will call this?
Reckless.
Reckless driving. They will take the license. Is that right? And they will probably prohibit that driver from driving until, they have to adjust back to the middle. You see, in fact, the real brave is not reckless. In fact, the brave is the one who really all the time calculates the risks. This is the true brave. And this is the true bravery. So it is in the middle. The same thing. You want to be autonomous, working independently. Okay? If you are not independent or dependent on others, not because you have a reason, but without any reason we call it helpless. Helplessness. Helplessness is good or bad? Bad. It is on that side of the spectrum. Autonomy is good, but autonomy, if it goes to the other extreme, it becomes self-sufficiency. I am independent, but I don't need anybody. This is self-sufficiency. Can you live in this life being self-sufficient? We accumulated all this knowledge to be an engineer or a physician. Or ask any physician, even in this audience. Okay, can you treat a patient alone? How many people? Sometimes you need to take care of one patient, sometimes even with a simple problem. Despite all that knowledge, but still you need others. And this is what we teach students and residents and fellows and all. Self-sufficiency is not equivalent to autonomy. You should not be self-sufficient. You need to get the help of others and work with others. Make sense? Okay, so even good things can go in the other direction, okay, and becomes really bad and unaccepted. And here comes really the crux, if you like, of their claim. In the best scenario, okay, that Muhammad is not mad, is not soothsayer, he is not kahan, he is not sha'ir or poet, okay? No, he is like any one of us, but probably he is the author of Quran. Am yaquluna taqawwala. So they put words in his mouth. He is the one who is the author of Quran. Am yaquluna taqawwala. But Quran is saying, bal la yu'minun. Again, it's not against Muhammad, but they don't want to believe in the message. You see, inside, I have no doubt in my mind that they saw the truth. But that truth is threatening their own interest. So they denied it. They rejected. Out of arrogance, out of self-sufficiency. Not because they have the proof. So they start really throwing all these accusations. And when you see that there is more than one accusation, it means they are at loss. You see that they don't know. And this is why Quran uses the article bal. Bal, in Arabic, we say lil-ittirab. Lil-idrab. We use it, lil-idrab. What does it really mean, lil-idrab? It means that the thing that somebody is saying no, it is not true. Okay, rejecting, refuting what has been said. So Quran is saying, you are saying this, and this, bal la yu'minun. All what you have said is not true. The truth is that you don't want to believe. You see that? So, which means when Quran uses it sometimes, بل قالوا أضغاث أحلام بل افتراه بل هو شاعر. What does that mean? بل. It means that they are really, at one point they say he is a poet, at another time they say, no, this is not a good accusation. Let us accuse him that being the author of Quran. Oh, للإضراب. You see, and because they are مضطرب. للإضراب, because they are, it reflects their state of imbalance. You see, they are disturbed. Their balance is disturbed. And this is why they come out. So it's very beautiful because even one article, it reflects to you the psychological state of that person. The state of that person. Very important. And in order for that person to change, they have to change that state. إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. Don't expect the change to come from outside. You have to change your own state first. Then comes the help from Allah. But don't expect the change to come right away from Allah. Here he's saying that. I'm not saying it. إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. We need to change our own state. Yes.
You know, when you said, when I analyzed these ayahs, you know, so you used the word that they're out of arrogance, you know, or that they were arrogant but also fools. And the reason I say this is, so Muhammad was not an unknown entity.
Yes.
He grew up among them.
Yes.
They knew who he was. The only characteristic that they had verified that they knew so well that he was Al-Amin.
Yes.
The truthful.
As-Sadiq Al-Amin.
If he had this talent of poetry and all this and all that, that would have come out much earlier. They had never seen that. Okay, besides all that, the wordings of the Quran, okay, if they could come up something with like a parallel, oh, okay, see, I mean, I can do the similar things, but they couldn't.
Very good.
Okay.
فليأتوا.
Right.
فليأتوا بحديث مثله.
They couldn't be able to come with anything like that.
Right.
They're trying to be.
So they're not only being. I'm just making an objective analysis.
Yeah. No, you are right because your idea is very well taken, but you put it differently because the previous verse was saying أم تأمرهم أحلامهم بهذا. If they are not using their faculties appropriately, they are fool. That's the whole idea. And the same thing, if you are accusing Muhammad being the author as a human being, okay, you are rejecting that he is a prophet, messenger. Okay, so for you, he is a normal human being. He is not poet, and you are normal human being. فَلْيَأْتُوا. Not only one person, come together. You see, come together. فَلْيَأْتُوا in the plural. فَلْيَأْتُوا بِحَدِيثٍ مِثْلِهِ. Bring something similar to it to prove your claim.
The last thing that I wanted to add to my thinking is, so they were arrogant fools, but also they were not true and honest to themselves. They knew damn well that they couldn't come up with something similar.
Yes.
In their mind, they knew without any doubt that this couldn't be done by Muhammad.
Exactly. And this is why I said, this is why Quran is saying, بَلْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ.
So
that they don't want to believe. It's not that Quran is saying they are not believers. They don't want to believe. You see? So they not only at this point, but also into the future. It is not on in their vision, okay, or in their plan to find the truth. In order to, because if you are interested, because this is what we saw in others. They heard that somebody is saying this and that. they hurried like to Medina. They probably crossed, miles, okay, to come because they want to know the truth. And is the difference, as I said at the beginning, between the elite and the terminology of Quran al-Mala and the terminology of An-Nas, the people, okay? The difference in their worldview. One is really looking at their own interest, and the other is searching for the truth. When you see million people going to the street, okay, however it is in Chile or in Lebanon or in Iraq or Hong Kong, just observations, okay? What do you think they are coming down to the street? Million people, they have their own interests? There is no way. There should be something bigger than their own interest. While those who are fighting, they are concerned about their own interest. And they are not happy with these people. But when you see that large number, okay, and sometimes you see it here in terms of voting. Sometimes a person may say, that party has been winning that seat for many years. They take it for granted. They don't show the people what they are going to do. The people vote against them. And they may bring somebody who was even not known before. Or they bring somebody outside their own group. Because that person did not prove that they are serving them. This is what happened if you remember, after Katrina in New Orleans. The African American population is huge, but themselves they did not vote for the African American candidate at that time. They removed him, the mayor. Why? And they bring somebody else from outside their own group because that person proved to be working for the public, has committed to public service. Again, because the people at the end of the day, okay, they are after the truth. But once you have a special interest, and the special interest doesn't only mean money and wealth. Sometimes, you may think that your religion is better than the religions of others. You think that your race is better than the race of others. Your color is better than the color of others. This is definitely, like special interest. You see what I mean? This is how the elite think. Again, in the terminology of Quran, al-mala. You see it all the time. قال الملأ الذين كفروا قال الملأ الذين استكبروا. This is self-arrogant, self-sufficient. This is their, characteristics. Okay, they are not interested in the. So Quran is saying,
I'm sorry,
yes, please.
They're in plain and simple just denial mode. Mm-hmm. And the Quran says elsewhere that كأنهم في أذنيه وقر.
Yeah.
Everything that Muhammad is saying is falling in deaf ear.
Exactly.
They're just plugged in.
Exactly.
No matter what, we're not going to listen to them.
Exactly. They are not interested.
Right?
Yeah. وَجَحَدُوا بِهَا وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا أَنفُسُهُمْ ظُلْمًا وَعُلُوًّا. As we said last time, these are two major diseases: ظلم and ulu, which is arrogance.
Yeah.
Okay, ظلم, injustice, all the time work against us. Okay, blind us from seeing the truth, or will be the motive to cover up really the truth. Yes, please.
Why does the Quran talk a lot about disbelievers and signs of disbelievers? What is the importance of recognizing disbelievers?
Very good. very good question, honestly. This is something, I am happy that you raised that, because this has to do with the way Islam has been presented and the way Quran has been taught over at least the recent years, okay? And the way sometimes the idea of disbelief or kufr or shirk or any of these forms or diseases, they are not presented as diseases. They present as, oh, there's something happening outside. We have nothing to do with it. Okay? But when you approach these issues that Quran talks about, okay, as diseases that can affect any one of us, then you become more vigilant. It's not like accusing the others. Oh, that person has, let us talk about physical, has diabetes, as if I am immune to that disease, and I should not take my precautions and do the right thing in order to avoid it or to really control it or something like that. Okay, but we talk about it as if it's happening outside. No, we need to change the way we approach these things. So Quran is, when talking about not talking about the other, before the other talking about me, asking me, I am the reader of Quran, asking me to be vigilant, not to fall into that disease, and not also to think that this is something that I am immune to it, but what I need to do to be very vigilant, okay, about how to protect myself from these diseases. Make sense to you? It's not like in an accusatory way, okay, as if like, okay, somebody else. No. Before somebody else, I am the reader. I have to be aware and conscious about these diseases and see how Quran help to prevent it,
Yeah, you could
avoid it.
You could be a disbeliever. You could be Muslim, and you're still disbeliever, right?
This is
That's why I think people
may
think
affect,
that
yes.
disbeliever means somebody who does not believe
Yes,
in
yes,
Islam. But I
yes,
think
yes.
really the disbelief in self-sufficiency is could be.
I mean, in a day, Muslim can also have the status.
This is why I said at the you are right. Like we said, like we come sometimes through these weaknesses, ourselves, and then you start really either reminding yourself, or you read in Quran that will remind you, or somebody else come and help you and remind you, tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. So this is really the way of how we can. We need to change, as I said, the way we are approaching. Okay, it's like as if you are accusing the other. No, this is not the idea. The idea how to help also the other. After you help yourself, how you can help the other to be protected from that disease, or to get rid, if you like, of that disease. Make sense?
You can follow them on the flight when they announce when the masks fall down.
Yes.
They say, put your mask first,
Yes.
and then help yourself.
Exactly. How come I will not be able to help somebody else if I am did not help myself, or have something to offer really to other, or being capable of helping really the others. Yes. But this is unfortunate, okay, every time, al-kuffar, al-kafirin, as if like, okay, they are really outside and we are fine. It's not true. Honestly, I mean, think about it. It is not really true. Again, when we started changing the approach, that issue will be resolved. The new or the approach that I am is, and really what I have inferred from Quran, that Quran consider these as social diseases that can affect anybody. Okay, so this is the central theme, okay? Because it is very important to the Prophet, peace be upon him, to be also confident that what he is receiving is really revelation, okay? And the people who followed him or embraced his message, that also believe that why it is important. Because we need to have reference in our life. We need to have a reference for the direction of our actions in this life. And this is the way Quran really defines, if you like, or you can infer from the way Quran uses the term religion or deen, okay, that it is the system that informs your direction or the direction of your actions. Because at every moment, there are so many directions that you can take. But you need guidance. Now, in the physical world, okay, you drove today here, but your GPS was helping you. Or you know that at this moment, you have to make right, not left, otherwise you will not reach. Is that right? So the direction is very important in our life. Okay? But especially when it comes to the meaning, for what reason we are doing this or that? What is the meaning of my prayer? What is the meaning of helping others? These are really, I need a reference for that. And Quran is telling us, I am the best reference for you. Okay? This is not really the work of a person or a human being. Okay? It is an independent reference. Like the universe. Nobody owns the universe. Is that right? The universe is an independent reference, but only for our actions. I want to build a bridge. I have to make the right calculations. If I miscalculate, what will happen? The bridge will not work. It will fall. And probably it will fall on the first person to be affected is the engineer. Was probably the first to walk on it, all right, or drive on it. Okay, so again, here, what is my reference? The universe, which means would be translated into the rules and regulations and that govern really. So understanding the physics, okay, and doing the right math. I mean, this is from the universe. Okay? But when it comes to the direction, I can build a house, and it is very sound as a structure, but I may use it to be a mosque or a church, or, God forbid, make it a casino or a gambling place. It is the same structure, and it is sound, it is not falling. But I gave it a wrong direction. Not the action, not the action itself, but the direction of that action was wrong. The action of building that structure was fine. The universe accepted it as an independent reference. But I need another reference that will tell me, oh, gambling is wrong. A place of worship is okay. You see what I mean? So this is the function of Quran, the function of revelation in general, and Quran in particular, because Quran is really the culmination of the movement of the revelation over time. Okay? So with that, do you think we still have time?
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Okay. So just like as a preparation, now if we go to the beginning of the surah, and the surah starts with an oath, and always the oath is a challenge in Quran. It's a unique, if you like, Quranic genre. Have you seen like any piece of literature or any text starts by swearing? Only you find it in Quran, but it's very important, and I would say still not very well understood, okay, genre in Quran. It's an approach where Quran uses that to prove something, to make us confident about something. Like when I said, to make it simple, why we use the oath in our life?
To give them,
To confirm that you did something. Is that right? This is why in the court of law, the judge will ask you to
Pledge.
make an oath. Is that right? That what you are going to say is the truth. And the same thing. Well, if I tell you, by God, I came this morning to the mosque. Okay? So I am asking Allah to be a witness to what I am really claiming or declaring. Okay? So I said, I came to the mosque, but I am asking Allah to be my witness. Here, who is making the oath? Allah Himself. So He is asking certain things, okay, that you see in the oath itself, to be the witness on an issue that is of importance. What is the issue of importance here? That there are people who are rejecting Quran as a reference in their life, or to be the reference in their life. Is that right? And they start really belying it. يُكَذِّبُونَ. Quran is saying, I am making an oath, okay, that these people are going to suffer. To suffer in this life and in the hereafter. Why? Because they do not believe. And you can see that, okay, إِنَّ عَذَابَ رَبِّكَ لَوَاقِعٌ. This is the answer. This is what Quran is, that punishment is coming. It's a reality, waqi'. And nobody can push it away. مَا لَهُ مِن دَافِعٍ. Okay? Why? Because فَوَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. These are the people who are going to face that punishment in the day of judgment. Okay? These are the people who are belying the message, rejecting the message. Now, next time, I really want you to ask yourself this question. What is the relationship between the things that appear in the oath itself? How we can connect them with the central theme of the surah. Again, here is the hypothesis, is that this is the central theme. Can we prove that hypothesis? If we can find in the oath connection that support that central theme, then we say, okay, this is acceptable. Otherwise, we need to search for another theme. Okay? So what are the elements? وَالطُّورِ وَكِتَابٍ مَسْطُورٍ فِي رَقٍّ مَنْشُورٍ وَالْبَيْتِ الْمَعْمُورِ وَالسَّقْفِ الْمَرْفُوعِ وَالْبَحْرِ الْمَسْجُورِ. I'll stop here and please make some readings, okay? At least what the verses mean, and make some thinking about like how these are connected together on one hand and connected with the central theme on the other hand. Okay? Make sense? Okay. Yes, please.
We all know how simple life Prophet Muhammad lived their life. Simple, right?
Yes.
So once at the beginning, he heard so much about the Prophet. He was curious to meet with the Prophet. So he came to the Prophet's mosque. And he asked him, where's Muhammad? Where's Muhammad? And people pointed. He was surprised. He couldn't believe it. He expected him to be on the throne.
Yes,
wearing rich garments.
Yeah.
He was surprised. He said, he's a common man like us.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think that's and this is how we need to understand the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thank you for bringing this, because immediately you can say that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not differentiate himself from the people. Imagine like I go to work and wearing something that totally different from what the people wear. Yes, you can say this is your freedom, but then as if I may be perceived that I am trying to differentiate myself from the others. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not do that. And unfortunately people say, oh, this is the sunnah, how you have to dress. No, who said that? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was dressing like the people around him. He was very keen about being seen as equal to the people around him. Otherwise, how people are going to
accept his message?
For the message to resonate. And if like he's speaking from a different really level or no. In fact, prophets were described. One of the best descriptions in Quran about the prophets is that they represent the people. Okay, they speak on behalf of the people. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ رَسُولٍ إِلَّا بِلِسَانِ قَوْمِهِ لِيُبَيِّنَ لَهُمْ.
Of their time.
Yeah, because it's not just like he's speaking the same language, but whatever is in there and inside them that they don't have the eloquence to express it, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam or any messenger will be able to express that. They can speak on their behalf. They speak in their tongue. Make sense? It's not that only they speak the same language like Arabic or any other or Aramaic or no, more than that. The messenger or the prophet is capable of expressing what is inside the people that sometimes they fail themselves to express it. Because he understood them very well. So he was able to speak on their behalf. Make sense? So, and the same way, how do we expect ourselves to make a change in any society or community? Again, if we don't understand the problems, own their problems, adopt their problems, make them my problem.
Mingle with them.
Yeah, how do I understand them if I don't mix with them? If I don't listen to them and they listen to me? If I listen to them. I met one time really a scholar in the real world. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. And I have met others in the past, but that person was totally different. Despite his really deep knowledge. But I told him at the end of the encounter, I said, I really appreciate the fact that you listened. Because many times people, when they reach that level, before you finish the sentence, they interrupt you and they start speaking. Let me finish at least what I have to say to you. Wallahi, he would really listen to the last word. So when I told him this, he said, my son, if we don't listen to the people, people will not listen to us. So please make more listening. Honestly, do you know, like, just really on the side, but this is very interesting. One time, there is this big institution in France where they induct scholars and philosophers into it. What's it called? Française. I mean, a big institution. I mean, you have to be really, really very lucky and highly privileged to be inducted into that really like institution. And
here we call it Hall of Fame.
Hall of
Hall of Fame,
Fame.
but that really at the level of like philosophy and knowledge, deep knowledge and everything. Do you know what he was saying, that person who was recently inducted, he was saying that the first thing they asked them to do, to stay for the first 6 months, not saying anything, not really responding to a reporter, not really like giving a lecture. They need to spend the first 6 months only listening.
It's tough.
It happened in corporations.
Very tough.
What?
It happened in corporations.
Yeah, but I mean, for 6 months, I mean, these people who are really like all the time giving lectures and like informing people and talking, and he said was very tough, but the idea behind it is huge. Jazakumullah khair.